have had up and downs over the course of this weekend, and that's been the same across the board. No one's really had a good weekend, but with the final qualifying heat about to get underway for the Junior X30 category, we're about to crown or decide who's going to be starting on pole for the Superheat. Let's take you through the starting lineup. Santiago Alves and Fred Green start this one on the front row. Morgan Moore and Ralph Nzarin on row number 2. Jensen Graham and Catherine Clark. Could Clark take this top spot in this one? Let's find out. He starts on that P6. Aston Sharp and Christopher El Fagali, they go from row number 4 with Javier Barrasca and Sebastian Mins on row 5. Harrison Mackie and Luke Agnew on row 6 with Guillaume Silvano and Quintin Van Llewellyn on row number 7. Isaac Say, who unfortunately is not participating after being excluded from injuries. He will have Gabriel Hugan alongside on row 8.
Row number 9, Toby Gale and Nikita Nikishov. Then we have Fares Jalil and TJ Taffy. George Cardomain and Alfonso Azevedo. From Elvis Kazauskas and Marlon Bayer. Bernardo Pinto and Arthur Wang. Adam Holmes and Knut Nielsen. From Katrina A. and Evan Agelan. 29 drivers onto that grid. And here we go for the formation lap 2. Formation lap 1 to get together in the grid. The starting order making their way back onto the start, finish straight. So the pressure will be mounting certainly on the shoulders of the couple of contenders for supremacy at the end of this day. It all comes down to the model race of the model day with the Superheat and the final that we're going to have tomorrow. 12 races still scheduled tomorrow, Saturday. Be with us as well for what's going to be another strong final to this year's event, as we have some news, and they're not very positive from one of the drivers that we had previously on track. Freddie Lloyd, we've just learned, has picked up a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, for that contact on that final lap with Tyke Butley.
So it wasn't a driver mistake, there was something involved, and it was Freddie Lloyd going for a little bit of a push.
Yeah, exactly that. So a big shame for both of those drivers, really, in that one. Well, here we go then. Sun beginning to set. We've got, well, this is our 5th to last race to go of the day. The busiest day of the weekend, 25 races this weekend, or today alone, that we've had to negotiate. Plenty over the course of the week, but it all starting to fall into place now. The last few pieces of the puzzle being set. Here we go then, into the tram lines. Santiago Alves, Fred Green, here we go. Lights go out, great start from Green, who holds it round the outside, and it is 4 wide as they go down into it. A little bit of rubbing and racing in the background there, as some of the drivers, Aston Sharp trying to hold on to position, bit of carts jumping up and down. Morgan Moore in a sandwich, and carts off into the gravel. That's not gone too well. Ralph Nzarin in a bit of trouble there as well, as one of the crop promotions. That looks to be potentially Javier Barrasca, potentially, who's in trouble as well. But all of them finally find a way onto the track. And oh no, and there's 2 more carts off in the background there. You can see them just off the screen. And that's not gone well. That's Ralph Nzarin. And the number 26, who started on the 2nd row of the grid, is now broken at the side of the track. That's not gone well.
Not gone well for Lawrence Nzarin. Is one of the winners in the qualifying heat in this class. Such a shame for Lawrence Nzarin. His race is coming to a close into that opening lap with a couple of drivers indeed in trouble, as we're going to go through the full classification again in just a moment as they come across with in the lead, very much glued to that pole position of his. Santiago Alves trying to shake off the order a little bit, but as we were hearing from Sacha Van Padrosch, for instance, with Jake Sansom, that steep stream here is so strong, as Raul Nzarin is making his way back close to the marshals. The yellow flag is being waved, I guess, for Raul Chassis as well, still on the sideline. But that slipstream is so strong into that first sector of the track that even for the leader it's quite impossible to build a gap in the early stage of a race unless something happened behind, which is not the case so far for Santiago Alves, who finds himself under the pressure of more Fred Green, Harrison Mackie, Maurice Carl Clark, all the way to P7 at the moment. Fred Green has just reduced the gap to just 2 little points in the overall classification. He needs 2 more positions and take the lead in that one, and hoping for Carl Clark to stay where he is in P7, and then we'll have a switch of leadership into that class. It would not be the end of the world still for Carl Clark, because he would still get to start on pole position. And there he comes, making his way up, getting ahead of Agnew, the 85. 7 places gained for Luc Agnew. And this is, here we go for P5 now for Cathal Clark, P5 that is indeed for the Victory Lane driver, starting his recovery. And it was about time because Romeo Roussel actually would be on equal points to him, as Fred Green just made his move as well in the meantime to P2. So the battle, the duel within a distance. Fred Green up into second, Cathal Clark up into 5. Those two candidates for pole position for the Super Heat in the junior class. Romeo Roussel praying, of course, for anything happening to those two. But at the moment, they're very much on equal points. Fred Green and Romeo Roussel. That's going to change in a minute with a bit of a gap built by the British driver in second. But now that he finds himself in that position, he wants some more, of course. He wants some more, and the next target is Santiago Alves.
Certainly is. Every position that Cathal Clark gains, he gains his lead in the order. Right now, Faris Jalil sees a warning flag. That was two drivers involved in that incident earlier on, but now down to the inside, Fred Green takes the lead, and crucially, that means 0 points to his name, which means he will have those 10 points, but Cathal Clark is closing in as well. Clark there in 5th place. Nope, scratch that. 4th place as Fred Green now loses the lead. He goes down into 3rd place, and now he's got his rival for starting on pole in the Superheats right behind him. Look at this now. Very interesting. Morgan Moore leads the way from Harrison Mackie, who's in 2nd place now. So Mackie in 2nd place as into the barriers. That's not gone well at all for Alfonso Azevedo, and his race is over. A big shame for him. Not the way you want to see your last qualifying heat of the day go. Despite that, though, the race does continue with yellow flags out in that sector. Morgan Moore leads the way there. A couple of them clipping the curb there, both Morgan and Mackie hitting those curves, but into the slipstream they go. Down into turn number 1. Here comes Harrison Mackie to the inside. No time wasted, and Fred Green goes through 2. Oh, but so does Connor Clark, or Cathal Clark, I should say. But it's all going a bit close there, and there was a little bit of rubbing between a couple of them, and it got a bit shaky there. Yeah,
too close for comfort, that's for sure, for Fred Green. But let's try not to do anything unwise. Justin Graham, the fastest in this race, as we have one of the drivers, or that's certainly one of the most painful images that we get to see when drivers falling apart after a DNF. Not easy that is, as Raul Zarin and Alfonso Azevedo have just lost the course of the race, have left the pack. Now, lap number 5, Harrison Mackie, Morgan Moore. Don't forget that Morgan Moore lost a win as well after a post-race penalty. He wants some more. Harrison Mackie very much in the lead. Fred Green, Cathal Clark, 3rd and 4th respectively. Let's have a look at the gap. Cathal Clark is going to go for the move. He has a 5 points gap now on Fred Green. He can allow himself to let it go just a little bit, but the pressure is mounting as well for the back, because Agnew, as well as Santiago Alves, dropping all the way back to P6. Would like certainly to recover in those later stages. He can actually go the one or the other for Cathal Clark if it doesn't go again, if it doesn't get ahead of Fred Green very soon, when he will be the one in the difficult situation. Coming to turn number 8 is up for grab from both Agnew and Santiago Alves, with Aston Sharp down in P7, Jason Graham, Boraska, and Nikita in P10. It's about observing each other at the moment. Who will dare to go for the move into that last lap? Certainly that will go down to maybe the last sector. Or at this point, you want to be able to keep that result alive. Here we go, last lap, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go then. Ring the dinner bell. Let's bring it home then for Junior X30 as they go down the hill now in towards 2 and 3. No defensive lines there from the top 3. Cathal Clark, though, going defensive from Santiago Alves. Alves on the fight back as Mackie now tries to hold on to 2nd place. Well, he's lost it to Morgan Moore. Morgan Moore goes through. Now Fred Green going wheel to wheel with Mackie, and Mackie getting squeezed onto the dirty stuff. Keeps his foot pinned in it, gets back onto the track and gets swallowed by the pack. Sharp goes past. The 22 goes past of Jensen Graham as well. And now it's all a massive concertina effect and a huge parking lot. Morgan Moore's driven away. And now it is Cathal Clark who sits there in 2nd place. This is exactly what Cathal wanted.
Yeah, definitely. He took advantage of that mayhem and that bit of a contact with Fred Green, just make his way around on the outside, and that's all he needed, Cathal Clark, to get himself as high as possible. He wanted to win that one, leaving the others to fight. And in the lead, Morgan Moore takes the win in the end. Checkered flag for the premium karting driver. Clark cross the line in second, secures with brilliant fashion the overall leadership of the junior class. That makes it the pole sitter for the first superheat of tomorrow morning. As big news, Romeo Roussel inherits pole position because Fred Green is nowhere to be seen. He's P8 at the finish. What on earth happened to Fred Green? We fear that might happen. This is certainly not the way to do it. Fred Green seemed to be in control of his own fate, but in the later stages of the race, it just went from bad to worse. And as a result, well, the Frenchman Romeo Roussel, who was waiting on the sideline to see the outcome of that race, his prayers have been met, because now he's second overall if he stays as it is, which makes him the other pole sitter for the superheat tomorrow, with Fred Green moving from second to third. Still not the end of the world. He will get to start on the front row of the first superheat, but on the outside and not on pole position.
Well, there you have it. Well, provisionally, of course, then, Cathal Clark will start on pole position for Superheat 1 tomorrow with that second place finish behind Morgan Moore. Romeo Roussel then would be promoted to pole position for the Superheat 2 tomorrow. So despite the fact that he's not even out on track, he's still gaining places. Well, there you go. Good to see then. That is our top two